So I'm from South Georgia. I'm from a beef cattle farm, and I voted for Trump, obviously, of course. He represents everything I believe in. I'm really starting to wonder if maybe I got scammed.
Are the Iowa farmers that $20 billion is going to their
$40 billion.
$40 billion is going to their competitors?
Oh, they're pissed. Oh yeah, and it's what's really interesting about it is the tariffs are the ones that create, like the trade war. The tariffs created the problem, got rid of the markets, and now we're going to pay them back with money from the tariffs that started the problem. Doesn't make any sense, right? They're more pissed. Farmers want they don't want a bailout. Farmers want fair markets. That's what they want. They want good, fair markets, and they had that until Trump got there and started doing what he's doing, creating trade wars, creating chaos in the marketplace. And now they're trying to figure out what to do. And then, like you said, giving $40 billion to Argentina, it's a slap in the face. What I'm seeing is, it's condensing down Iowa to these major metropolitan areas, so they have more land to farm on, so more of those big ag corporations are making money hand over fist, and the small farmers are getting out of the way. That's what it seems like. So again, we need to fight for small farmers. We need to fight for working class people to prevent what's going on.
I saw a video yesterday of a MAGA that was talking to his orange daddy, pleading with him to not have beef from Argentina come over here because it's going to hurt the price of beef. Now, he obviously quoted God at the end because that's what the typical farmer does, the typical white Pharisee, the cosplay Christian. Now, sir, the greatest commandment that you believe is to love thy neighbor as thyself, right? That is what your faith is? There was 4 officers that took their own lives after January 6th from the PTSD. Did you care about their lives? Your neighbor. Officer Sitnick passed away. Did you care about that neighbor? Amber Thurman lost her life because Georgia refused to give her the health care that she needed from getting an abortion. Did you care about that neighbor? Adriana Smith stayed on a ventilator for 4 months because she was brain dead from complications because of the heartbeat bill in Georgia. Did you care about that neighbor, sir? E. Jean Carroll, that he sexually assaulted. Did you care about that neighbor, sir? 43,000 people passed away from gun violence. Did you care about those neighbors, sir? See, you didn't care about anybody except for yourself. You're what we call a modern-day Pharisee. You've weaponized God and religion in order to push your white male agenda. That's what you are. You loved thyself. The only thing that you ever posted that was political was when something economically affected you. Do you think that Jesus would care more about Adriana Smith, Amber Thurman, the January 6th, the school shootings, or the price of your beef? What would Jesus do, sir? And you do the exact opposite. You have something in common with Satan. Both of you believe in God, and yet neither one of you follow him. Faith without works is dead. You sure talk a big talk when it comes to God and faith, but your walk is MIA, sir, just like your faith. Maybe one day you'll actually find Jesus and start caring about other people more than yourself. Maybe one day you'll care about the children that are murdered in schools from gun violence than the price of your cattle. You have yourself a good day.
This message is for all the MAGA farmers that are complaining that they're not getting their subsidies and places to sell their soybeans for November. What did you do with October's subsidy money? What'd you do? Did you stock up on farm equipment and seeds and maybe try to shop your products around smartly? Or did you just go buy a bunch of expensive stuff? You know, when Biden gave you all that money, and now you can't afford to pay for anything else. I mean, and by the way, you can thank Trump for the government being shut down and all of your subsidies being cut, okay? And for your subsidies not going through in November. You know, it looks like you're going to be dumping products on the market at a loss just to be able to salvage something. I mean, huh? Oh. You know, I know a lot of like Tractor Supply stores have deals during the winter. All of the things that you might need to raise your little chickens or your cows or whatever. There's lots of farm supply stores out there, you better figure it out quick, because I'm sick of hearing you complain, honestly. I mean, have you ever had this as a meal? I mean, it's peanut butter on crackers. It's delicious. I mean, you should try it, okay? And not for nothing, I saw this farmer out there that was getting a ton of money to help run his farm, and he got that money from Biden. But now that Trump has stopped paying for the Biden program, he wasn't able to keep his farm up and running, or he's about to lose it. Do you know how long I could make that type of money, that Biden money, last at my house? I don't even have a farm, okay? I do have some dogs and some cats, and I have to feed my birds and a couple of ferrets, but I've always got the things that I need at my house, okay? I mean, I would take a third job if that's what I had to do to save my farm, okay? Like, what are you doing for your farm besides, coming on the internet and bitching that you don't have any money on your farm subsidy account? I mean,
Y'all, I'm having the realization that MAGA is chickening out. We are now giving $40 billion to Argentina. And MAGA's real quiet about that. And let me be clear, we are buying $40 billion worth of USD, our currency, worth of Argentinian pesos. Argentina, who has a really bad track record of paying back their debts when the time comes through. And if this bailout doesn't work, we're left holding the bag, because no one will buy those pesos back from us because they'll be worthless. And MAGA's real quiet about that. Every time you show MAGA proof of prices going up, like every time I put up my receipt or show the prices in the stores, they're real quiet about that. They don't say a word. Even though I keep hearing that prices are coming down, but when you physically show that prices are going up, they get real quiet, don't say anything. I'm also realizing that when Obama took office, y'all was screaming and yelling, they're going to ruin the White House, they're going to modify and do all this stuff. They never did. But now Trump has literally had the East Wing knocked out. The East Wing is gone. That's where the First Lady's offices were. Those are all gone. And MAGA's real quiet about that, because you can't deny it's happened. And I think it's weird that anytime something comes up that doesn't represent the narrative, MAGA gets silent. Farmers are struggling for real. And y'all are going to say, oh, well, there's going to be a bailout. It doesn't make sense that we gave money to Argentina, who is our main competitor for soybean exports. They've actually just now started even more exports to China, because China is now ignoring us. And we're giving them money to bail out. And MAGA's real quiet about that, because there's no way you can scream America first when the people here aren't getting the money first. It's very difficult. So, and I think what's happening, why MAGA gets silent when these things happen, it's either the hypocrisy is real, or their news bubble is so tight they're not hearing about these things when they happen, which I doubt, or, which I think is more likely the case, they can't admit they were wrong. In this case, more than ever, they have made Trump and this whole idea of MAGA and Make America Great Again and America First their personality, their actual identity. So then to say that everything you believed in and you believed this particular person was going to bring about for you was wrong is terrifying, because then it's like the death of self. Everything I thought I was is now gone. And if you need an example of that, think about these people who recently were talking about the rapture. So the rapture didn't happen at the end of September. Oh my God, no. There was a different calendar. It's going to happen in the first couple of weeks of October. No, it's not, Sarah. Sit down. And the issue is, for them, it's full on panic. Everything I believed is now falling apart. What do I do? And I think this is why MAGA gets real quiet when these big things happen that you cannot argue against. There's no way you can say prices are actually coming down. They're not.
I really think Trump just said F them farmers.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
And there you have it, right out of the rotten orange's mouth. It shouldn't shock anyone because Donald Trump has always been someone who didn't care about United States farmers. Hell, he proved that in his first term. Farms took a massive hit. As reported by the Farm Bureau, the actual amount of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings skyrocketed. There was a 24% increase of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings by farmers because of Donald Trump and his trade war with China. And Donald Trump's running that same play again. This is a breakdown from the Federal Reserve of Minneapolis, and they are taking a look at the 9th District and how it holds up to other farms across the country. You can see the massive spike of bankruptcies that are occurring all across the United States. Donald Trump has these farmers literally praying for help. I mean it.
Federal government steps in to save them. Farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer to me than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
Excuse the fuck out of me. Did he just say they can't help what happened to them? Hey, Arkansas farmers, I just want to remind you, this is literally what you voted for. You all voted for Donald Trump at a 64.2% clip. I do want to shout out Little Rock, though, who voted for Kamala Harris. Arkansas farmers, when you say you can't help what happened to you, you could. You could. You know how? You know how you could have actually helped this? Pretty damn simple. You could have voted for Kamala Harris. If farmers continue to go bankrupt and lose their farms, this is going to be a huge impact to all American citizens. There's going to be food shortages. We're going to feel it. The prices of groceries are going to go up. This is going to be bad.
Well, farmer friends and rural America, he got around to screwing you today, didn't he? You thought it was only going to be the Democrats or the Latinos. No, his plan is to screw the American people. And the sooner you can all realize that is the sooner we can band together and fight to get rid of him and his other criminals. There has to be decent Republicans out there for you to vote for. Even Indiana stood up to him today. The con has to go, or we're not going to have anything left. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner we can get him out of there.
American farmers are watching their livelihood collapse and still cheering for the guy telling us to buy beef from somewhere else. Let's talk psychology. He's not appealing to self-interest. He's triggering a trauma bond, the same pattern where people cling tighter the more they're devalued. It's the illusion of belonging after betrayal. He's mastered identity fusion, convincing followers that loyalty to him is loyalty to self or country. So even when the policies hurt them, their brain registers defiance as self-harm. He doesn't need to win every argument. He just needs to keep the bond alive. That's why you'll see people lose their farms and say, "Thank you, sir." Because in this kind of conditioning, pain feels like proof of faith.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market. Supply and demand. Where did that go?
Donald Trump has changed the meaning of MAGA. It now means make Argentina great again. What? Yes, MAGA now means make Argentina great again, because Donald Trump has decided that he is going to bail out his buddy down there and bail out the Argentinian farmers for soybeans and for beef. Originally, he had sent them $20 billion. He then increased that from $20 billion to $40 billion to help them and prop up his friend down there who's trying to become president and stay president. And then he decided now he's going to start buying Argentinian beef, which has got the cattle farmers in the United States out of shape. Not to mention the soybean farmers are out of shape because of Donald Trump's trade war with China, and China's not purchased any soybeans since May. And in turn, China goes to Argentina and buys billions of dollars worth of soybeans from Argentina, and Donald Trump is now sending our tax dollars to Argentina to prop up his buddy. I mean, this is so twisted and so wrong. But clearly, don't cry for me, Argentina, because Donald Trump has changed the slogan. It is now make Argentina great again. I want to know what all of you soybean and cattle farmers, what do you all think about this? And MAGA, what do you think about this? I thought it was supposed to be America first. It's not America first. It's clearly Argentina first. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. How you like that price of beef? Beef was going up more than 55% under Donald Trump. Really doing a good job there, Donald. What do y'all think?
Yeah, he screwed the idiots then, and they still voted for him a second time.
Well, first of all, a lot of this is karma, because these same white farmers, they were the ones who sued to block the long overdue help that black farmers were supposed to get with the Biden-Harris administration. So y'all could go to hell. How about that? But last I checked, I had plenty of steaks under Joe Biden. I didn't hear the ranchers complaining about not being able to sell their beef around the country, around the world rather. It is Donald Trump's heinous tariff policies, where he has declared global economic warfare on every other economy by slapping on these arbitrary so-called reciprocal tariffs. And guess what? Other countries have economic power as well, and they told U.S. farmers, go to hell. We'll get our beef from other places. And so all of this is a crisis completely manufactured by Donald Trump. But you know what? Every MAGA supporter is completely aware that Donald Trump manufactures crisis for his own political benefit, or just for shits and giggles, because there was no border crisis. There were all these crises that he ran on. They're eating the cats and the dogs, which wasn't true. And all these things that got all these people, the trans people are coming in your bathrooms. They're coming to your sports. They're going to take all your gold medals. They love to be lied to. They love fake problems. Well, you have a problem when a president who creates problems that don't actually exist, and then he creates solutions to these problems that don't actually exist, that fuck up what we already got going on. And so all of this is because you have a president, to Dr. Carr's point, is mentally diminished, but is running the ship. The inmates are not supposed to run the asylum. The nurse, the patients is out, except for there is no fucking nurse, because the Republican Party is completely neutered. They've abdicated their oversight role, whether it's the Supreme Court, whether it's the Congress. And so the patient is running the whole country into the ground. And unfortunately, when that patient is the most powerful person in the world, everybody suffers. But the people who are shocked by this are the main ones that thought they were going to be just living high off the hog. Well, you are dumb, because as you like to say, Roland, hashtag we tried to tell you.
Even though American farmers are struggling, I'm happy that our president sent Argentina $40 billion. I'm willing to go broke. Ha! Couldn't be prouder. What a time to be alive.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just, it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market, supply and demand. Where did that go?
Okay, since I'm shadow banned, I'm just going to share the message with MAGA, leftists, progressives, right-wing creators, and everyone in between. Because this message is the truth. It's going to make a lot of you mad, but you deserve to know the truth. Someone's got to tell you it, so fuck it. Why not me? It's in regards to the cattle farmers and what's going on in the USA currently. It's unfortunately a lot worse than you may even imagine. So here's what's going on. Cattle farmers are reaching out to our executive branch going, yo, Mr. President, can you help us out? We're going under financially. Can we please have some assistance? You said that you were going to make life more affordable for us, for our businesses. What's going on? Our president quite literally goes on TV and goes, you should be thanking me. You should be thanking me. You should be so grateful. You should be so grateful because I have just done so many great things for you. Eat shit. He didn't actually say eat shit, but he is insinuating that. As he then starts to import Argentina's beef, completely fucking over our cattle farmers here in the USA. This comes after he's also sending $40 billion to Argentina for an economic bailout there, but can't seem to send that money to people here in America that have those needs. It's baffling how anyone can support it. Now going on a little bit of another tangent that doesn't make as much national news, not as much headlines, but it really hits home to me because I'm from the Midwest. The soybean farmers are also going under. I've talked to way too many of them to know. Not saying that, it's bad that I'm talking to a lot of people, but I've talked to, I shouldn't say way too many, I've talked to enough of them to know that it's bad. Businesses shutting down, people losing everything, and also have a mind in the sense that it's going to affect you too, directly through the things that you consume in the stores. Prices will go up because of it, because of the tariffs that are hurting quite literally everyone in America, except our federal government, because that's where the money ends up going through the pockets of the billionaires and the bureaucrats in D.C.
Farmers, ranchers, and cattle producers are opposing President Trump's plan to buy more beef from Argentina, which he says could help offset the soaring prices of meat in the U.S. Beef and veal prices have jumped nearly 14% over the past year, but many cattle ranchers and farmers groups are concerned this move will come at their loss. It's the latest in a series of deals the president is working on with Argentina to combat that country's deepening economic crisis. The president defended his plan while speaking to reporters over the weekend.
What do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are?
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything.
And we're joined now by Buck Warbine, president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Thank you, Jeff.
So help us understand your opposition. Why are your members so strongly against expanding Argentine beef imports right now? From the outside, ranchers appear to be doing better with higher beef prices. So what's the core concern?
The core concern is that it's a misguided attempt to lower prices to the consumer, and what the rhetoric and ideas and so forth that the president has put forth has big negative impacts on our markets, like our futures market, and that is instantaneous, and yet the lag time from our cattle markets to the price in the grocery store is long. I mean, that's years in the making, and so this is going to negatively impact producers while doing almost nothing for consumers.
When you hear the president say that this would help farmers in Argentina and that, in his words, this is a country fighting for their life, what's your response to that? How does that strike you?
I certainly can share, being an ag person, I can certainly share their pain, and we've been there ourselves as well. Argentina, it's not just the amount of beef coming in, but they have a long history of foot and mouth disease. USDA has not done a good enough job yet of making sure that everything coming from there is is safe. And so we're not only concerned about the amount of beef that comes in, but also the animal health issues. And so this is a bigger thing than just cattle prices.
We also know that some Republican senators from cattle states have expressed their frustration and objection to the White House alongside groups like yours. Is that message landing? Is it resonating with anybody at the White House right now?
Well, I can't answer that. I don't know what the president listens to and what he thinks. We just want him to get the message from us. We are his friends. We voted for him, and this is going to hurt us and not help the people that he's trying to help. And we certainly applaud his wanting to help consumers, but it's going to be at our expense, and it's not actually going to help them.
So if not more Argentine beef, what should the administration be doing right now to help bring prices down?
Yes, there are things that they can do. It will take time, but the market will take care of itself. And they've got the money and the commitment to build us a facility in South Texas to deal with the New World screwworm, which is a pest making its way through Mexico that will get here. And that's going to hurt us even more on our supplies, so they can get going on that. They made a commitment in August, and we are very grateful for that, but nothing has happened yet. We've got the Endangered Species Act with wolves that are killing lots of calves, and black vultures doing the same thing, and so they could work on things like the Endangered Species Act that are invasive and are hard on our producers, and other regulatory items that could help ranchers be confident that they can rebuild their herd and as soon as they're able to when they get grass again. So there are things that can be done. The main message, though, is that the markets work and they will work, and what we don't need is anybody manipulating them.
Buck Warbine, president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Good to speak with you, sir. Thanks for your time.
Man, fucking farmers. First it was soybean coming on here bitching and moaning, and now it's all the cattle ranchers. They're talking about Argentine beef, and why would we buy Argentina's beef? We need to sell the beef here. Dear DEER, Mr. President, why are you doing this to us? We voted for you. You know what? I have good news for the cattle ranchers, though. It may seem like a dark time, but I have good news. The silver lining is maybe at the end of this, you'll be invited to the ballroom. Maybe you'll get to go to that $250 million ballroom. Maybe, just maybe, he'll invite your manure-smelling ass to the ballroom. And then all this will be water under the bridge, and you can go kiss your daddy's ass like you have for the last decade. Because Donald Trump is for the farmers. He's for the ranchers, right? Isn't that why he gave Argentina, America first? He gave Argentina $40 billion. Meanwhile, the price of beef skyrockets. Meanwhile, Argentina undercuts the price of soybeans so they can continue to sell to China. Meanwhile, China has cut off all trades for produce and agriculture with the United States. But the farmers would vote for him again in 2028. I thought farmers were supposed to know something. I thought they were supposed to be kind of smart and understand science and math and shit like that. But what I'm seeing is they're just a bunch of gullible asshats to vote for the same man who tried to bankrupt you in 2019, vote for him in 2020, and turn around and vote for him again in 2024. So I don't know what to tell you, but your sobs ain't worth a pitcher of warm piss. My give a damn is busted.
Okay, we've all seen it on the news. It's the latest rage bait thing going on social media and everywhere else. Trump says we're going to buy beef from Argentina. And everybody's like, oh my God, beef from Argentina. Y'all, track with me here. As a cattle ranch owner, okay, I'm like in the business. Let me give you some scoop for you city folks. A large portion, if not the majority of our beef has been coming from Brazil and South America for about 5 or 6 years now. How do you know? I'll prove it to you without you even having to Google shit. Look who the top people are in rankings in the PBR right now. They're not Americans. It's Brazilians. Now, why would Brazilians be crushing it in the PBR circuit right now? Oh, because they're the ones raising all the cows right now. See, the hustle is this. They raise the cows in Brazil and then ship them over here to be slaughtered and processed in America, so they still pass it off as USDA grade A American beef, even though it's been raised over there. So moving it around the corner and asking Argentina to fill a void is ridiculous. But here's the big lie everybody's rage baiting about. All the media says, oh, the poor cattle ranchers, they're going to go broke. Are you fucking kidding me? Cattle prices are up 600% in the last 5 years. Every cattle rancher I know has a brand new Ford F-350 dually, a brand new trailer, and a bunch of new tractors to go around because they are printing money for the first time in their life. How the fuck you gonna say that ranchers are starving and cattle people don't have any money when every single day of the week a new record is being broke at the market in the auction for the price of cows that they're paying for? But American ranchers are smart enough to know that, hey, if we sell all of our cows, we don't have any more cows, and we can't produce any more cows, and then we're out of business. So we're at a stopping point here where in order to preserve the herds and keep getting this great American grade A genetic real beef that's processed around here and grown here in America, we've got to slow down on the processing. Plus, don't forget Biden let like 100 million people into this country. They eat beef too. It's not like they eat pork. So us cattle ranchers, we've had the infrastructure to take care of about 300 million Americans, and now all of a sudden there's almost 400 million Americans. That's what they're not telling you. They're not telling you this shit, but it's true. So we're gonna have to get some beef from Argentina, but it's not a big deal because you're probably eating a burger right now that came from Brazil anyway. What's the difference?
So I'm from South Georgia. I'm from a beef cattle farm. And I voted for Trump, obviously, of course. He represents everything I believe in. I'm really starting to wonder if maybe I got scammed. And that's the thing that farmers just aren't saying out loud, but we all feel it. We got about 250 head of beef cattle, combination, lots of Angus, and we're finally making money for the first time ever. And we just thought, okay, well, Trump is screwing over the soybean farmers, but they're always in debt up to their eyeballs. They deserved it. We did not. We're finally making money. But now everybody's saying that Trump announced he's going to start buying beef from Argentina to lower the prices of beef cattle. How's that going to help us? Our prices are through the roof. We still got to be making money. If there's more foreign supply in the U.S. market, then the costs are just going to go down, but our costs are still high to make the beef. I voted MAGA because America first. Obviously. But how is subsidizing the Argentinian beef industry helping the United States? How's that helping the American farmer? And I just feel like I'm the only one who's going to come right out and say it. I was at the Ag Expo in Moultrie the other day. We were all just looking around, looking at each other like, what is this going to do? Sure, maybe they'll bail us out like they're bailing out the soybean farmers, but that's not a good living. I'm not a welfare queen. I'm not. I can't just live off government subsidies. I do the work. I just can't believe that Trump would do this. And actually, I don't believe it. I think it's all hype. But I guess try to buy American-made beef, I guess.
You know, guys, I was going through the latest updates in the internet and I came across MAGA farmers, to be specifically the ranchers. They are super mad, extremely mad, simply because the president has said that from today onwards, we are going to import beef from Argentina. And now it makes sense why he was bailing out Argentina. He not only gave them $20 billion, he added again another $20 billion to make it $40 billion. I don't know if you saw Iowa farmers. They held a discussion and they were like, it's really unfair because the only thing that the farmers need is just an open market. But what our president is doing is going outside there and destroying every market. Any market that they would have had. Of course, we are talking about China because China was the biggest, the baddest market for them, especially for the soybean farmers. So think about this. The president wants to import beef from Argentina. We have beef farmers in the country. They are buying products for the animals. They are taking good care of the animals. And at the end of the day, they're not going to sell this particular beef to the American citizens simply because of the cost. Remember, the one that is being imported, they are coming to sell it at a lower price. So that will be 100% loss on the side of American ranchers, right? A lot of Americans have come out and they're like, oh my God, I voted MAGA, I voted red, I voted for Trump, and this is what is doing to us. Like, what the hell is happening? Oh my God, what is really happening? Because, most of these people voted because of the policies. They thought that these policies were going to serve them after they vote in Trump. But what is happening? Black farmers, on the other hand, they've always been sidelined. When they want to be supported, some people come and say that no, they don't deserve it. And now for them, as much as they're being affected big time, they have decided like, okay, you can't really see them coming out and complaining about all of these things that is happening in America, because probably they are used to, being sidelined. But of course, it's not a nice thing at the end of the day. So guys, these particular people, they are super mad, extremely. Okay, I don't know even if super word is, I don't know if it will describe it well. If I was a rancher, if I was a beef farmer in America, I mean, listening to the president saying that we are going to import beef and yet I have beef, I would have been the most discouraged farmer in the world. But things happen at the end of the day. Of course, there are those who believe that the president knows what he's doing. And guys, remember, when you talk about bailout, it is not a long-term solution most of the time. It's not a long-term solution because you're just trying to subsidize goods, products for the farmers, and they're going to pay it at the end of the day, But you can imagine providing for them markets where they can sell, get their money. That is one of the happiest thing that a farmer wants, market. And not only market, but ready market. I saw how the soybean farmers really got discouraged because the time of the harvest came in and there was no single order. I mean, products were rotting in the farms. And on top of that, the wages have already gone up because of those who are working now. Because, typical American, they're not used to going to the farm. They're used to, other jobs. I would say white collar jobs. So most of the time, it's the immigrants who used to work in the farms. But now, you can't dare go to the farm because any minute you can be sold out. Of course, in a group of people there's always a sellout and they'll call for you ice. And remember, some of these immigrants are hiding in whichever places and they're just trying to make end meet, which is really difficult. I saw a story about a Kenyan who had gone to America some 17 years ago, and then an issue came up like before the current president was voted in, and the issue was and actually the case was still in court, and then it is not yet over, and then the president is sworn in, and he was staying like a prisoner in his own house. And imagine he had a family that is taking care of, and now since he never wanted the embarrassment of being deported, the deportation that is happening in America is so dramatic, and he really didn't want the children to go through whatever other people are being done to. So he had to just self-deport and leave the family behind. But if you watch the videos of the daughter crying, "Papa, I really miss you. When are you gonna come back?" And it's just crazy. It's crazy. And I know after this second term of Donald Trump, there will be a lot of changes, especially if Democrat wins. More people will be allowed into America. America is the land we all love, right? The land of opportunities. Like when you go there, you won't miss a job. I remember some time back, like people would film in the streets, and after every 10 minutes, there is a job, like people are looking for jobs, like companies, not really people, companies, businesses, which is a nice thing, Now Trump is like, you need to go back to your home. Your people need to plan well for you. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.